Hi, guys. Welcome to I Am Reality Now, where you're the star and story of your own reality. I am Stephania.
Hey, Mitch.
And today we have another amazing episode. And today's going to be about I am pure. I am purifying. I am always purifying. What else did we say, Mitch?
Purification.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's really cool because I don't know if you guys have heard and noticed that in our other videos, we talk about how our state is consistently purifying circumstances, events, even memories or dreams that are happening around us. And we want to go more into that because I don't know if we've specifically talked about why purification is a word we use to showcase how powerful you really are because you get to choose, experience, and purify everything else so that you get to live a life full of peace, joy, prosperity, and health.
Yeah,
Mhm.
purification is a great topic. It really is to make peace within, and there's different modalities to do that. I like to look at purification as going on a journey, right? So, what are you purifying? You're purifying a state of being. So, a state of being creates a whole new, set of experiences. These experiences compel you to look at them differently, revise them, purify them, and the only thing you're purifying is yourself. So, the experiences are just reflecting yourself of making peace within yourself. And you could look at it as a fun way. You could look as a journey, as surprises, ecstatic surprises. They're all love, and it's a journey in yourself. This is an autobiography, so this is just another chapter to create from a state of being, and that state of being produces opportunities, obstacles to opportunities to create purification. Because there only is purification, there only is forgiveness, and forgiving is forgetting, and then you make peace, and then now you have clear-headed and make the ideal decisions in harmony and contribution.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason why I love the word to purify is because you always were, right? You always were love. You always were the purity, the light. And so anything that's not showing up as that, you don't necessarily have to force into changing. You don't have to do anything other than seeing it righteously. And seeing it righteously is, you send it love. You're like, I'm going to forgive and forget. Literally, I'm going to revise how I prefer this to be. And how you prefer it to be is a purification of win 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 for everyone. So you see health, prosperity, um, joy, happiness, success for everybody involved. So you're going into a higher level of consciousness, right? So it's not like a doing, like a, oh my God, I'm going to force these things into being because you always were. You always were the light. That's why in so many of the videos, I'm like, you guys are perfect right
Mm.
now. Like, there's nothing that's going to make you even more perfect. There's nothing that's going to make you even more worthy. No matter what life experience you had, no matter what circumstances you're around, no matter if you have a little bit of money or a lot of money, right? Like, there's nothing in this world that can take away your perfection. And all you need to do, we get to do, it is like an honor, it is a fun experience to consistently purify all those little like shadows, right? They're like little pesky little bugs. And then you just start seeing like, wait, no, like I am the lantern and I get to consistently purify the garden.
Yeah, I look at it as righteousness, so right consciousness, and because we're so perfect, we are encouraged to be righteous.
Mhm.
Love is perfect. There is nothing other than love, and love is so perfection that we are very sensitive to anything that's not love. Because when your true identity is love, you're sensitive to anything other than love, and that's how you know that you're love. And these are opportunities to purify, and that's what right consciousness does. It gives you a framework to know, hey, I want this. I want to feel good. I want to feel fulfilled. I want to make peace with what I perceive as not peace because I'm love. So it's very easy to recognize when you're not experiencing something that's not love. And these are opportunities, obstacles to opportunities, because there are only opportunities to purify. And purify simply is, I think, a good friend, Joseph Rodriguez, calls it cause and effect reflection. When you go on a journey, you encounter something that could be disempowering, and these are opportunities for either looking at is in harmony contribution, looking at it differently, or revising it. What you're doing is your state of being is a framework. It's a framework to help you focus on what you desire, which is just to know yourself anyway.
Yeah.
And this is how you do it through this love, this love story that you're purifying and you're making. It's a, you go through a journey as a love story. So anything that comes up and somebody, comes up, rubs you the wrong way. No, that doesn't mean that I'm this or that.
Yeah.
And then you purify it, then you continue and you continue. And that's all reality is. It's just shaping it to what
Yeah.
you prefer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are definitely the potter. We are all the potters of our own life and experience. And oh my God, like
Mhm.
more and more each day, I keep seeing it, it's like being still and knowing, which of course, like I want to remind everybody, there's fun action to be taken. It doesn't, you can literally sit there and do nothing and still get what you prefer, the experience, because they're just experiences, right? But if you have fun taking certain actions, that's the unfolding of the path. And I think I'm starting to see kinda like an archaeologist. You're in the center of it, and let's say everything else is I don't wanna say dark because there's beautiful things to experience here, but let's say if you're in circumstances that you don't know how they're going to get solved, you just keep, like, going in this beautiful path with your conviction, your purity, right? You see distraction, opposing factors, people saying this, people saying that. You're just like, "No," you purify. You're like, "I decided." Why? Because you're the last voice. You're the one commanding your life. So that's, I think, the most important component of understanding, realizing, recognizing, and remembering that you get to have the life that you want to experience because you're the commanding voice and you're the last voice. And that's what you're purifying. The recognition that you are the power molding this beautiful life, right? So let's say you're kind of like an archaeologist and you're like underground,
Mhm.
but the more you're like, "No, I can see it within," right? I see this golden vase, and then you're just like, "I see it, I'm just gonna walk the path," and then sometimes you're gonna get ideas, you're gonna get resources, you're gonna get things, and then your psyche is gonna put things together. Um, and then it's gonna appear out of nowhere, and you're like, "Oh my God," let's say it was there 20 years ago, and you're like, "I can't believe 20 years ago I didn't see it." No, it appears to your level of consciousness. It appears to your level of purification. When you have the conviction, right, that this is the experience you want because you're selecting it, you're simply selecting it, then it's gonna be there physically, but the funny thing is that Mitch and I talk about this all the time.
Mhm,
It's like,
mhm.
it's not even physically having it that matters. It's the fun conceptualizing, right? The conceiving of it. You're like, okay, I want to, and I wish to experience this, the desire. All of that is conception, right? You're giving birth to this idea. And then the purification journey, right? And then, which is not even a journey because it's right now, and it's that realization that you already have it, so there's no, like, getting. That's the whole fun part. It's like that movement of energy that is just you and yourself, and not even the physical being, right? It's not even the me as Stephania, him as Mitch, or you guys watching, like, that physical identity. It's like, you're giving shape to everything, if that was any clearer.
Yeah, 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 and you're not really ignoring anything because everything you're experiencing is
Oh.
optimization data to that journey, to that state of being. And, yeah, it's just an evolving and what happens is you learn about yourself. That's what you're really doing. So you go on a you embody a state of being, and then you get ideas. So people think a lot of times in this journey, people think, okay, well, I want this now, but it's a self discovery. So you get ideas. Like, what does it feel like? What does it feel like to get ideas? People think, like, how am I going to figure this out? How am I going to get there? But by you embodying the journey and the state of being, you'll get the ideas. And then you'll realize, like, wow, this is really cool. I got this idea. I went with this idea. It's unfolding. I'm taking this idea. I'm building on this idea, and that's leading to more excitement, more ideas. And then you realize that, wow, this is reference experience. I realize that I am a state of being. I'm always bonded to a state of being, whether I like it or not. If I don't choose a state of being, I'm going to be in a state of being unlike what I prefer, and then I'm going to experience those ideas. So this gives you a focus to get ideas that are inspiring, and you don't know when you get these ideas, but you acting on your highest excitement gets the ideas, and then you get to really know yourself, like, wow, this is what love does. This is I'm enjoying this, and I'm getting this idea, and now I'm doing it, and all of a sudden this happened, then I bumped into this person, and that, because you're embracing who you are. Your power is awareness, is consciousness. You're giving awareness to a state of being. You're entertaining something, and that just
Yeah,
generates an idea. On this channel, we generate many ideas because of that state of being, and it just builds momentum. And then you
yeah,
realize, like, wait a second, it's easy. Now you're starting to realize, like, it's easy. Why is
yeah.
it easy? Because I got ideas. That's why it's easy. I didn't get the idea
Yeah,
before. So that's
yeah.
what it does. Know yourself. Desire.
Yeah, and there's so many different ways that the process will, like, unfold for you for different psyches, and it's gonna make sense to you, to, like, the person watching this, because your everybody's brain works a little different, right? It's like a little maze or, like, different rivers that have developed, but, like, for example, I was thinking back in the day, I used to be really, maybe obsessed, could be the word, but I loved information, so the more books I could read, the more I could get my hands on, where, like, I felt like I needed it to succeed. Whereas and that could be somebody's truth, right? Like, "Oh my god, I read so much and I'm collecting so much information that I was able to put this information together and that was my path." Whereas somebody else that could be a little bit more relaxed and they could just be like, "You know what? The perfect information always finds me." They don't have to know everything to feel safe and secure that the best information, is going to be the puzzle pieces for the development of what they actually wanted to experience, right? So take this as like at face value. Like, what do you prefer? What makes you feel good? Do you want to move really, really fast? You have so much energy that you want to do like 20, 50 things a day, and that works for you because that keeps you excited and focused. Or do you want to be more relaxed and have like 5 tasks a day because you know you're disciplining your mind no matter what? Like, the most important part, and I keep realizing, recognizing, remembering this, because the mind is the most important thing to discipline, the stage, right? Yeah, like you can waver here and there, but if you start wavering too long, you forget how to swim. Like if you start going into the trenches, and it's happened to me sometimes, because when you come into this information, like everything is fun and easy, and then you're like, I'm just gonna coast, which could be useful for some time, but then I'm telling you, like, for me, waking up every morning, like, with my positive affirmations telling me what I wish to experience, having a vision, "Without vision, the people perish." I hear Robert say that all the time, and I love that saying because I hold a vision. I know where I'm going. Um, if I don't have that, I get distracted and the world takes away my confidence almost, right? Which is silly, it shouldn't, but, that's what I've noticed happens.
Yeah, all it takes is a decision, right? So as a decision is a state of being, it's a thought, and what happens is then you make a decree, a conviction that anything that comes that reflects that I'm not that person, I'm going to purify it as an opportunity. So these are obstacles to opportunities that come up through the journey, through a decision, and this decision that happens is typically because love thrives. Love is an expansion. So you're going to make decisions like this in your journey to create states of being, because that's what love does. We can't turn it off. That's what love does. It's an expansion. It's an expanding energy. So we're always going to have desires to know ourselves, and these are opportunities, obstacles to opportunities to purify. This love is always getting pure, alchemized, right? It's always being alchemized, more and more and more purity, and that's what these desires do. They desire to know yourself as love,
Yeah.
as purity, and that's why you're always wanting more. You have 1 billion, you want 2 billion. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what happens. This expansion for even billionaires to expand, and they look at ways to expand their consciousness to do so, and that's what the desire does. And that's go now. I believe a billionaire could be on a purification journey. You would never think of it, but that's what happens. And there's always more. It's infinite, and
Yeah,
that's what makes
the
it fun.
expansion is, and it doesn't even have to be financial, you guys. It's like you can want a larger family. You can
Mhm.
want, more homes and that are helping, children in different countries. It is whatever. You can even have a nonprofit. You're not even making a dime.
Mhm.
Whatever it is that you want. I mean, obviously survival, but like,
Mhm.
or like want to be the world record breaker of how many books you can read or how fast you can run the mile. But I do believe that, like, that's kinda what keeps us alive, like, and I think I told you, Mitch, like, I remember when I was younger, I had a lot of friends that used to go on vacation, and then, like, they used to complain so much when the vacation was over. It's almost like I heard more about, like, how sad they were that it was over, or even the anxiety that some minds get, coming back home because, "Oh my god, the vacation was so awesome and relaxing," and I was telling Mitch, like, the vacation doesn't have to end unless you stop feeding it. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, you're relaxed somewhere else because you're like, oh, okay, like here I can do whatever I want. But you can really do that in every aspect of your life. It's just you forgot. You go back and you go to the places that you made other people the operant power. You made your family, your relationships, your bosses, the government. So you come back home, right? Which is not your home. It's just the illusion that you are tethered into. And it's like, oh my God, look at all these things that are happening. And that's what I'm saying, you get to purify. Like, you can be in a consistent state of bliss and vacation and give it direction and it can be very beautiful for you.
Yeah, what's interesting about purification is that, we are always being compelled, we're always being compelled to purify, even when you're not purifying. If you the fact that you're so pure in love, it is compelling you to purify, and that's why you have reactivity, that's why you have was it disempowering, disharmony, dis-ease, stress. All of this is compelling you to
Yeah,
purify. It's just simply you haven't done it. You haven't embraced your love. And love wants to heal. That's what purification is. Love, it's love wanting to heal, love wanting to expand, and love wanting to heal. That's what pure. And the thing is, you're encouraged to do it because that's why you have reactions. That's why you have conflicts. Um, it could be in anything, and this simply because you haven't healed from it. You haven't seen the good and very good from it. You haven't. You're on a journey of growing a business, and you're looking at
yeah.
your customer base. The fact I
Mhm.
don't see the customers, that's because you haven't purified. You haven't seen
Yeah,
and embodied your state of being. That's why you're not seeing them because you're not embracing your divinity, your who you are, your state of being. Um, and that's your superpower. That you're not connected with it. That now you're being encouraged to purify. You're not yourself. Not being yourself, there is something that you haven't purified if you're not yourself. So
and
that's
I
why
almost like
yeah,
sorry, Mitch, go ahead.
continual forgiveness of sin, same thing.
But, like, I almost, like, I'm encouraged to say and remind everybody watching, like, there's nothing wrong in the fact that you're seeing contrast and opposition. There's no blame or shame whatsoever because you can even see it as like, "Oh, I'm in my purification journey. This is amazing." Like, I'm purifying it because I get to revise it, re-envision it, remember it righteously, right? So, I think I hear people be like, "Oh my god, I'm just not good at this. I reacted." Reacting is part of the purification process at first, right?
Mhm,
We all went through that again, like a baby stumbling, learning to
mm,
walk.
mhm,
So there's absolutely no like, "Oh, I don't know how to do this yet. I can't believe it's happening again." No, the fact that you could observe it, see it, and like the fact that you can even see it means you have the capacity to re-envision it, revise it, and remember it righteously, right? So, I was telling Mitch, like, okay, for example, somebody that wants to walk on coals, like hot coals, they have to purify the belief that hot coals is going to burn their feet. So, through meditative practices and then physical exposure, there's exposure needed for them to be like, oh yeah, I'm just like some guy that walks on burning coal fires. Now, I was telling Mitch, do I have the desire to purify that specific experience? Right now, I don't. I don't wanna run on coals. If I had the desire, I would, like, put effort, right? Because it takes effort. It takes mind focus and dedication to be able to purify an experience that you actually want to have, and that's where you know, like, a burning desire is, right? So, if you're going through something and you're like, "Oh my god, whatever it is, whether it's like an SP journey, like, oh my God, I'm still falling into this, he's not texting me, or this business is not going right. Don't worry about it. Like the first thing you can do, you're like, you know what? I'm doing amazing because I'm perfect now. I can consistently see it thriving, consistently more and more each day. So I dare to say that there is actually not even anything wrong at any point, and the fact alone that we're having this conversation and you're watching us, it's like that reminder is like, "Oh, yeah, everything's perfect." I'm
Mhm,
being reminded to see myself full of clients. I'm seeing my reminded to see my bank account full of wealth
mhm,
and
mhm,
prosperity because that's our natural state. And I even dare say, get excited because this is what I
mhm,
do. Get excited when you see the opposition because you're like,
mm.
Bet, like, I'm so much stronger than all of this. Like, I see you trying to taunt me, and I don't really care, you know?
Yeah, it's a great point. Contrast is our expansion generating energy. We what would we be expanding without it?
Mhm.
Without the contra, without us seeing, oh, I want to see more of this. I want to see more of that. There's your contrast. There's your purification
Mhm.
opportunity, obstacle to opportunity
Mhm.
to thrive, to desire more. Otherwise, what would we be desiring? And I've said this many times, if you had a easy button and you were to press it every time and get what you wanted, there would be no love in this world. There would just love wouldn't have a meaning. There would be no yearning to expand if we had an easy button. There'd be nothing to expand. And that's not what love does. Love is an expansion. So that's what contrast does to purify, to create, this thriving desire to know yourself, to see more love in the world, to send more love in the world, to experience more love in the world, fulfillment, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. This is what purification is. It's really purification is a journey in yourself of love. It's all love, and it's an expansion vehicle to really put the gas on and make things easier. That's what purifying does, because if you have a resistance to love, then you're not going to be everything. You're not going to be as I am. You're not going to be everything you want to be,
Yeah.
and you'll be very reactive. It's really not. It's really being reactive to yourself. So being
Right.
as yourself is purification. It's embracing forgiveness. It's embracing love for yourself and recognizing, hey, I'm empowered. I'm in my state of being. I stand by what I love, and I love feeling this way. And you have a conviction on it, because that's what love does. Love is a believing in it, in themselves, and then anything that's contrary to that is purified. It's just simply illusory. Purification is just illusory, not what it seems. Not this not love experience is not what it seems, because it's not really true. And you're purifying that to just be more and more, purified, alchemized. That's the word I was looking for.
I do believe though it should be easier and can be easier because again with the momentum. So I do think that when we first encounter the world, we are taught that it's everything's hard and whatever, whatever, and scary, and you're not in control. And, like that book that we're reading together, which we should probably make a video on. Do you remember the name of the author?
Robert Scheinfeld or something.
Yeah, we should probably make a video, but we definitely will make a video sometime this week. So, when he was saying it's like phase one and then phase two, where like phase two is like, okay, we understand that we are actually connected to things and we have more power, and that's where like the ease comes in. And I do believe that the more you you purify certain categories, they become easier, right? And yeah, yeah, like it's important for me because I see the conversations, I hear the conversations. I even that was probably my old self. That's why I feel like the need to purify this by sharing it, right? Like there's like no you never lost your power. You were never doing it wrong. You're just
Oh.
does that make sense to everybody? Like that's really important. Like you're perfect now. So even if you're seeing the contrast or somebody talks bad to you or you know your ultimate health and infinite health, but you have a cough or you got sick, that doesn't mean you lost any power. Does that
Right.
make sense? It's
Right.
just all these illusions are temporary. So if you start believing like and falling, right? And you're just like, "Oh my god, I injured a joint and now I'm never gonna walk again. I suck, blah, 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 blah." I mean, if that happens, just recenter, meditate again. No, that's not my truth. That's just the voices of the illusion. And if you were like, oh, this one time I could meditate and I could see the golden eye in the sky and now I can't see it because somebody actually did say that to me. And they're like, I lost my power. It's like, no, why are you making these like even spiritual concepts um the source of your power? Because now you're spiritually seeking, right? It's still like a different form of seeking. And I keep wanting to remind you guys that you're perfect now, and everything else you get to see how you prefer it to be. And even that desire that you have, it's not bigger than you. It's not, like I said, it's not going to make you any more worthy when you have millions, billions in a bank account, when you have 100 kids or one kid. It's beautiful. Again, beautiful experiences to have, and you want them because why? You already have the seed to be able to project it into the world, which is an experience of you anyway. And I think essentially all we're doing in even these channels or all the other coaches is like talking about allowing you to have an easier experience through the process. So you don't believe like the energy, the stress of the body, the psyche pulling you into like, meadows of despair where you could just easily get out. Even in your dreams, you can get out of the nightmare, you can get out of the discomfort, you can get out of the worthlessness because you're perfect now.
Yeah, and the perfection and the worthlessness and all that and being worthy is very easy. It comes down to knowing that you exist. So the moment that you realize that your existence, now you have a framework. Now you have a consciousness framework to know
Yeah.
that you're self-defined, that you're the authority. Without you, without you existing, there's no experiences, there's no world, there's no experiences, no world, and no consciousness, no states of being. So you give the birth to all of this. So giving birth to a world, to experiences means that you're the source of this. You're the author of this, just like this channel, Reality Now. You're the source of it. You're the cause. So being the cause means that no matter what happens out there, you are defining it. You're making sense of it, saying, what does this mean? Does this mean I'm not this? No, of course not. And it's this regular purification of alchemizing through the fact that your existence allows you to build that framework, and having a state of being is your birthright to now go on a journey and an experience. And as soon as you create the state of being, you are encountering a contextual field of experience. You're now, anybody that is counter to that, you're very sensitive to it because you've already entertained, you've given birth to an experience. Now you're expecting an experience, and then anything
Yeah.
that's counter to that experience, you're purifying. It's like, no, wait a second. I just entertained this idea. Why can't I experience that? You can experience it. You're looking at it from your source. You're just an observer, but your state of being. That's your right in consciousness. And that's how you experience anything. So it's that contrast, that purification. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to experience it. If I didn't come up against some contrast, I wouldn't know what there's a difference between my state of being and now what I think I'm seeing. But I'm just getting used to that state of being, and I'm creating that state of being. So my world
Yeah.
is out picturing that state of being. So I'm living in that world of that state of being. And that's what living in that world, that state of being is. It's purification. It's coming to love yourself, care about yourself. I don't see it that way. I don't see that means I'm not this, because I stand by my truth. So standing by your truth now starts to get ideas according to that.
Yeah.
And purifying gets you those ideas. And that's
Yeah.
that's this journey of this autobiography of yourself. It just is a beautiful experience the more you embody it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what helped me the most because, I've been doing this for a while and I had almost like a shyness to be so confident. Like I thought I had to hide my confidence of leading my own life. And that's so silly, you guys. Like why are we the psyche is such an illusion to give you fears around you saying making your own decision. You get to validate yourself. And I understand the psychological component, which is also made up because everything is made up.
Mhm.
The psychological component of like the communal acceptance, societal acceptance, and wanting to be part of something. But do you really want to be part of something that's like mediocre? Like, why would you want community acceptance? So, I laugh because I remember being a young girl, even like what your friends thought of your outfits. Like, what were you wearing? Who was wearing what? Like, what was the most popular brand, you know? And it's so silly where you actually, like in those moments, you can actually start learning your own confidence of making your own decision. Like, what are you deciding to eat that not everybody in your family is eating at the restaurant? Like, hey, venture out, explore yourself, explore your experience, because otherwise you're just moving as a school of fish, not like this, you know, the center of this magical experience. There's so many things you can do, and you can explore scuba diving, going on airplanes, and jumping out of them. That's not necessarily my cup of tea, but hey, it could be yours. And yeah, like it's being decisive and not caring kindly what other people think of you, right? You don't have to be like in people's faces, like, because again, you're just talking to yourself anyway. When you realize, recognize, and remember that you're just talking to yourself anyway, when
Mhm.
somebody bothers you, there's been so many times in the past where I used to try to, talk to a family member that was very strong, opinionated, and then I felt like I was talking to a wall because they were in a different radio station. They were consistently just like a talk track. If you guys have been in sales, you know that you learn talk tracks to be on the phone. I was like, oh my God, this person is not listening to anything I'm saying. So it becomes really, really funny, where you're just like, oh, I don't have to explain myself to anybody. I don't have to validate my ideas, my thoughts, whatever I'm doing. I get to identify myself with what I want to experience, right? Successful, beautiful, kind, prosperous, healthy, and if somebody tells you, "Oh my god, you didn't eat enough," I don't know, oranges are the new thing and you have to go on an orange only diet, and, you don't have to be like, "Well, I don't know, I kinda like tangerines," and they start telling you, "No, oranges are the only things you can eat," you know? I was just saying, like, enjoy your life, decide for yourself and validate yourself. You don't need the new trend, the new wave, even if it's, like, the person closest to you that is has strong opinions about everything, because at the end of the day, your life is really going to reflect what you believe of yourself.
Yeah, it really is like, this I look at it as almost like a diet. What kind of foods do you wanna eat? And these conversations you're having is reflecting your state of being, and they're inner conversations, whether you're having them with someone else or not, you're always reflecting on them. You're reflecting on what did you talk about? How did it go? And if it was not what if it's something to purify, it's gonna compel you to look at it differently.
Yeah.
You're always on this journey of doing some purification because that's why you're reflecting on conversations. You're reflecting on conversation because you didn't, something with it wasn't pure to you. So you're always on this journey of purifying. You're always, doing some sort of inner conversations with it. And that's why I think it's such a great way to create a state of being and to create a journey of what you want in your life, because then it starts to unfold that way. Then you start to it just opens the doors because you look at things differently. You're looking at it from that perspective. You're not thinking of it, you're thinking from it. It just happens. I think, okay,
Yeah.
what would the feeling be like for this? There's your state of being. Now, what would that feeling be like? Well, this then somebody comes up to you, they start talking to you. It wasn't what I envisioned. I'm getting disempowered because they're making me feel like I'm not in that state of being. It really happens virtually immediately. And
Oh.
it becomes an inner conversation because then you start dwelling on it, and then you get
Right.
ideas, and then it is really crazy. It really could be very crazy,
Yeah.
when it comes to this.
Yeah, it's so wild how, like, it is crazy, the mind is so funny. I remember a long time ago, this was like 15 years ago, I think. I was working at a law firm, and I was not aware about, like, what I know now, but I was very positive. And the reflection was that people didn't like it, that I was positive. So they're like, "Oh my god, hi, happy morning, good morning, whatever." And I was very jolly and bubbly. And then I created this experience where, oh, people were really rude back because they weren't happy and I couldn't be happy. So then I stopped being happy as to not offend people. But that's such a freaking silly,
Mhm.
like, acceptance on my behalf, right? Like, I don't have to accept that. I could just be like, I'm gonna be myself and bubbly and amazing and like, who cares if they don't agree with it? Eventually, what I've come to realize, recognize, and remember is that the grid matches me. So no matter where I am, I could just be myself. And if you're not bubbly, that's fine. But I know that I can go anywhere I want and be taken seriously, and people know my wisdom, and I can still be smiley and positive and bubbly and jumping around, you know. And when I was a younger woman, more like a girl, but I didn't have that conviction. I was like, "Oh, if I, you know, if I dress this way, they're not gonna take me seriously if I just bounce around." And it's not true, guys. You get to carry yourself, um, and you you get to do whatever you want, really. And the right people are gonna come to you, and the reflection is gonna match that.
Yeah, you really get to be yourself, I think.
Yeah,
That's what purification does. So, like, Steph, when you went through that, you realize, "No, that's not really true. That doesn't mean they're not gonna accept me," and
yeah,
you get to be as I am. Then this purification, this alchemization allows you to be your true self, and that's ultimately what we're looking to do in this overall life journey. We're being as our
yeah,
true love, being ourselves. Because that's utter fulfillment. That is fulfillment in anything. It doesn't matter what's going on, we're fulfilled. And then recognizing, even to say that, is that really true? That alone, when you say, is that really true? And now you're purifying it, that is fulfillment. That is taking your power back. If that's not
yeah.
fulfillment, what is? I mean, now you've taken a disempowering scenario to that somebody's making me feel, quote unquote, making me feel this way. And
Right,
now
it's
I
not.
tell, is that really true? Whoa, no, it's not. That doesn't mean I'm this or
Right.
that.
No, you're
And
amazing.
right,
You're
and that
amazing. You're amazing. All of you guys are amazing. Like no matter what you're doing, you're beautiful. You're perfect. Like that's the whole thing, and that's why I love confidence. And I was talking to Mitch about how like it's like God confidence, really. Like that's what I want to start calling it because confidence comes from God, right? God is your I am, and what else is going to be able to support you,
Mhm,
stronger than that, you know?
mhm,
And other beautiful things I've manifested into my life was like, yes, and if I forget, I have very strong pillars of people around me that can remind me because then you don't have to, I don't feel like I have that weight alone. But at the end of the day, the discipline is going to lay mostly on you, the I am person, the observer, right? And I also want to add, you can do this with everything. Like when you have conviction about something, even if you haven't seen it before, you're playing around your molding clay. And something just happened to me today, and I just noticed where I had a stain on my pants. I'm wearing this color, my pants are this colored. And my first thought could have been, oh no, like I just wore this outfit and now I have to wash it. Or I could just be like, see it clean. Stains are really easy for me to remove, right? I already know this because I've been doing this for so long. I already know there's 2 doors, there's 2 paths. Which one am I gonna choose? The one of ease, right? It can be easy, but that's the discipline that I already have. So in another video I shared that I saw a chair that seemingly had a stain. I saw it clean and then it was like a shadow, right? But then my pants right now, I just used a baby wipe and I wiped it clean. And in the mirror, it didn't look clean. It looked like I made a bigger mess.
mhm.
And I said, no, I'm not gonna fret over this. I see the pants clean. And now I'm looking down and it's completely gone, right? But you can do that with your whole day. You can do that with your whole day. You're cooking this food. I already see it that it's delicious. The phone call I'm about to have, I already see that they're happy and loving and kind to me, and everything gets resolved. The project, wow, everybody actually has new ideas that I don't even know about that's going to contribute to this project to be better and better and better. You're talking to a parent, this happened to me even, like, with a family member. I think it was this weekend we were hanging out, and then the day after, I was like, "I wonder if they left mad. Were they upset when they left? I wasn't sure." And then I was like, "No, I get to decide. I see them happy. I see them satisfied. They were not upset," because you start to read energy, and then you give it meaning and define it, but there is no they, because you get to direct it time and time again, and that's a purification, right? So you see your neighbor, you're like, "Oh, they seem like they're in bad spirits, they looked sick." No, you get to decide. Oh, more and more each day they look happy. No, the next time they talk to me, they're gonna be so happy and kind. That's what I should have done with with the coworkers that thought were upset because I was happy and positive. That was my belief. My belief, if hardened, became true, and they were just like, really bitchy, for lack of a better word. And then I realized that I took that belief onto my next workplace and I purified it. I was like, no, I get to be bubbly on myself and this and that. And then I realized that I can do that anywhere.
Yeah, and I think what you're really saying, Steph, is righteous judgment, right? So, judgment, we that person, I think they look a little sad, but no, they had a great time today. I was with them all day, and at the end, they had to rush and go. But really looking at the glass as half full instead of half
Yeah.
empty, righteous judgment. Look at yourself as valuable. Like, what did I do today that was valuable? Okay, we're not judging we're not judging what's missing, right? We're not looking for what's missing. Righteous judgment is knowing who you are, what you're being. What I'm doing right now is valuable. I was a meeting in before was valuable. I helped a friend that was valuable. I went, whatever. You could look at so many different things that shows that you're valuable and you're worthy instantly. It's when you're looking for something that's missing, then you're looking to purify because that's not really you and it doesn't feel good. It's not fulfilling. Being as I am is a
Yeah.
righteousness. It's a righteous judgment. It's only
Yeah.
good and very good, and that's what love is. It's an expander. So
Yeah.
that's why looking at these things is it's illusory. It can't be true because there's only love, and that's
Yeah.
why you come to righteous judgment for that very reason because there only is righteous judgment.
And these conversations are so useful, you guys, even if you're just listening to them or having this conversation. Like Mitch and I just talking, we're creating things and experiences out there. Before I used to have them a lot by myself, but it's not as fun, right? Where I could share the contents of my mind and I'm like, oh my God, I thought of this. And literally appeared on my walk because I love the miracles of life, right? I specifically love when things appear out of nowhere. And the more you welcome that into your life, you're going to start seeing it. Like your brain is actually be like, oh, wait, we were talking about this. And, 30 minutes later, it's showing up on my walk with my pets. Or something else that you can purify is like my city's very safe. My city where I live, my streets, everybody's really kind, and it's safe, right? And I did that the other day. I was in a location where there were certain people that looked a little ominous. So then what did I do? I purified the scene. First of all, they're healthy and they're thriving, right? So but there's like 5 different people there. Um and then I was like, okay, and then I imagined a bunch of kids playing, right? I just like, okay, what would be better if I just see kids playing because that's, disarming. And then literally, like, I think the day after, I walked into the grocery store. Mind, it wasn't the same place, but there were all these little kids in front of the store just playing, giggling and falling. And the funny thing that my first thought was like, oh, well, this is really out of place. Like, shouldn't their parents be telling them to keep themselves together? And I was like, oh my God, I created this. I chose this. I had literally saw kids playing around and they're here giggling and I'm complaining that like I wasn't really complaining, but you know what I mean. I was like, well, this is weird.
Hmm.
But yeah, the more and more you give your mind direction and you observe and you recognize the operant power that you are, the more you're gonna enjoy seeing the miracles of life because you're like, oh, I just talked about this and it happened.
Hmm.
And then you're gonna talk about more beautiful things like the cars always let me go through. The drivers are so kind to me.
Hmm.
Oh my God, traffic is amazing. How
Hmm.
many times oh, I don't wanna even bring it up so that you guys don't consume that, but how many people sit there always complaining about traffic? I think people are amazing when I drive. Everybody opens up. I literally have friends tell me I really see like a bubble around me. I don't understand how traffic opens up for you. And I'm like, I have a very strong belief that everybody's so kind to me. When people are like, there's no way you can make a left if I forget that there's like a lane. I'm like, the car behind me forgets to go, right? All of a sudden they're on their phone, they forget to go, and then I can get in. So I'm just saying, you guys, like, believe the best out of yourself and the world because you and the world are one.
Hmm.
The comments that you're leaving in YouTube. What are you saying in YouTube? Like, oh, must be nice. These people, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that could be your reality too.
Yeah, you're really opening up yourself for experiences. What you just presented, like you're driving in traffic and you know everyone is respectful to me. What you're really doing is what you're doing is this. You're opening up experiences, you're thinking from, you're entertaining something. Once you entertain something, you're thinking from. You're thinking from that experience. And then now you get ideas. You get ideas, okay, maybe I'm gonna go in the left lane, maybe I'm gonna go in the right lane, maybe I'm gonna, go slower or whatever. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
gonna go faster. And then it just works out in harmony and contribution to experience that because you've developed this purification that no one's telling me that there's aggressive drivers or whenever I drive this
yeah.
traffic is just always an aggressive, community of drivers. There's nobody to tell you that. So
No.
so it's almost like creating, okay, whenever I go, the red carpet's rolled out for me. Okay,
Exactly.
so now I'm gonna be thinking from those experiences and I'm gonna bump into so yeah, I may not be perfect, but I will be in the consciousness that I feel catered to, I'm taken
Yeah.
care of, I'm supported. And then
Mhm.
what happens is you react differently. So instead of the reaction like, wait, you're not looking for what's missing, you're not looking for where the red carpet's not
Yeah.
rolled out to you. You just automatically look for where the carpet is rolled out to you. It's automatic. It's as soon as you start to
Mhm.
entertain it, which is a state of being, it's automatic that your consciousness is just narrowly focused on not what's missing. It's looking for the opportunities of where the carpet's rolled out. So there could be like infinite areas where it's not rolled out, but your consciousness will just be drawn to the consciousness
Yeah.
of it being rolled out. And then you'll say, see, I entertain the carpet wherever I go, wherever I drive, everyone's kind, wherever I go, people roll
Yeah.
out the red carpet. It's consciousness,
Yeah.
awareness, state of being that you're married to, and you've already
Yeah.
entertained. What does that feel like? So as soon as you say, "What does that feel like?" It's a thinking from. It happens automatically. Once you say, "What's that?" You're automatically thinking from. Then your consciousness is focusing on those areas, and then you say, "Yeah, see, it's connected to my state of being."
So, there's 2 things I can add to that because I remember it was like a mental process for me, like, there was progress involved in that. One of the things I noticed when I was working, um no matter what career, development happens, there was always that, like, "I can't wait till the end of the day. I can't wait till 6 p.m.," right?
Mm.
So then when I became more conscious, I went into corporate, in sales, and I still heard that agenda all around me, like, "I can't wait till 6 p.m. Oh my god, I can't." So what is that? Not yet, right? Like, you're always not satisfied. You're literally putting your body in angst because you're waiting for something to come. You're waiting, and waiting is a horrible state to be in because you're not gonna be fulfilled if that happens. So, I remember just being like, "Okay, well, there's nowhere to go. I'm going to enjoy being here now and see the magic of being here. In my computer, there's magic. In my clients, there's magic. With my manager, with the building, and so many beautiful things developed from being there now. So much so that if 6 p.m. came around, I was like, I could stay here till 7 because I'm so serene, and I used to hear that all the time around me, like, "How are you doing this? Like, don't you hate it here?" Because I mean, that's what they were believing, right, at that time. So I think what bothered me more was people complaining. I was like, if you don't like you complaining about the state does not make it any better, you know? But anyway, so that was the thing where I was like, okay, there's nowhere to go. I might as well just enjoy being here. So the same thing with traffic, right? So if I'm sitting in a car going somewhere, there's so many things to enjoy. I have a car. I love my car. If for whatever reason you don't enjoy the car that you're driving, you can manifest a better car too. Enjoy like what it would it feel like to be in a comfortable car? It doesn't have to be luxurious, it doesn't have to be expensive. What would a comfortable car feel like? What would a comfortable roof feel like? And then you start looking around like, oh wow, there's so much beauty around me. There's beautiful trees. Trees are like the most calming presence ever, in my opinion. And then I just remembered, I was like, "Wow, I could just sit here." It doesn't even bother me that there's a something an altercation that the cars are not moving, and then I see the trees, and then I see the I started looking at the flowers, and then there's butterflies and bees flying around. I was like, "This is so beautiful," and I'm not even before that, I wasn't even looking at it because I was focused on, like, why am I not there yet, right? So that really pulled me out where I was like, "Oh my god, there's something to enjoy everywhere." I could just sit still and be still and look at the ripples of the ocean or, like, enjoy, like, how the beautiful patterns of my cup, and really, like, be present with it, and, invite you guys to do that. There's nowhere to go, like, just enjoying this beautiful experience is going to, let you live more, really, like, more beauty in your days. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you're really saying is to like we
Mhm.
always talk about giving meaning to what you prefer. You're giving a preference for love. Seeing, you're not deliberately, deliberately doing things, or you're not you're deliberately being conscious. You're conscious of how you feel. It's important to you how you feel because that's what love does. It cares about itself. It takes care of itself. It loves itself. It champions itself. It's its own best friend. So you're going to be caring about what you entertain. You're going to be caring about the way you perceive things. You're going to be
Yeah.
caring about the way people, talk to you or the meaning you give to them.
Yeah.
You're going to be caring about the way you feel because there's only your consciousness. So
Yeah.
you're always giving meaning to what you prefer because you care about yourself. It really
Yeah.
is truly realizing that your existence, you're all there is.
Yeah.
You're all there is to take care of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why not? And then you realize, oh my gosh, I'm empowered. I don't have to look at this way. I don't have to take this personally. There's nothing
Yeah.
personal. What's personal is that you're not caring or not perceiving that you're love. And then you realize, wow, I can look at this differently.
Yeah.
I can hear their voice telling me they love me. They told me they love me the other day. Doesn't mean I'm not loved now because they're whatever, having a thing going on today. It doesn't judge me. There's only righteous
Yeah.
judgment. And then when you realize that, you're embracing your free will. You're not surrendering your
Yeah.
free will. You're not being a victim. And then you don't go down this road of mistaken identity. So it's just being as
Exactly.
I am, essentially. And anything
Yeah.
other than that is purification. That's really the message
Yeah.
of this video.
Yeah, and we're just so lucky. There's luck in everything, like, even when I started all my journey with all this without understanding really, like, consciousness or the metaphysical component, I'd be like, "Well, I'm so lucky to have fingers, I can move my fingers. That's so cool." It is
Yeah.
cool that we have, like, limbs that can move in, like, a three-dimensional space, Like,
Yeah.
um
We're blessed.
Yeah, yeah, we're alive. Like we can actually have these conversations. We can hear these conversations. Even if for whatever reason you're in the illusion that everything got taken away, you're perfect. You're infinitely worthy. I would laugh if like if things cease to exist for me. I'd be like, all right, well here we are. I'm like a peanut again. I don't know. Like what else could I'm okay being a peanut.
Hmm.
But the psyche sometimes shakes you, and
Yeah,
to
essentially, no matter what happens, you can recreate it. It can be recreated
yeah,
through consciousness, like you always say, Steph. There's nothing lost. Everything is always safe and supported. You're always being taken care of. So it doesn't really matter what's happening. Some way, somehow, I'll always be good, and that's just a regenerative. That's an infinite supply, because you could always tap in on it. And then when you realize that, that the sky's the limit, and that's what you're really celebrating. You're celebrating your infinite supply. You're celebrating that I could always tap into that. I'm celebrating that I could always go from 1 to 10, look at things differently. I mean, that's sheer power. That's
yeah,
purification at its finest. And celebration is really the ultimate celebration of you. Celebration that, like you said, I'm blessed. I have my fingers, I'm healthy. There's always an opportunity to celebrate, always.
yeah.
It doesn't matter what's going on. You have family that cares about you. Why can't you celebrate about that? It doesn't even matter what's happening. I have my health. Why can't I celebrate that? Why do I have to focus on what's
Yeah.
missing? What's missing is an illusion. There's really nothing
And
missing.
and guys, this is so important because it works for me all the time. Even if you're going through an illusion of like unhealth, you can be happy that you can see it as a vaccine. Like, oh, I'm only going through this to purify it so it doesn't happen again. You're like, don't be like, "Oh, why did I get sick?" And then your brain starts telling all these stories of like why, how, blah, 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 all this stuff. So you could just be like, "Oh, this is so exciting because I'm purifying this." And it happened to me recently where my body was uncomfortable, but I really did have to hone down. Okay, this doesn't happen to me. I'm being exposed to it, right? Because it's exposed to everything's kind of like exposure therapy. When you can survive something, it becomes like so minute afterwards. And that's how I saw it. I was like, "Okay, well, I was having some issues with my sinuses," and I was like, "You know what? No, like, this doesn't happen to me anymore, and if it's happening right now, so it doesn't happen again ever." And if it happens again, do you guys think I'm gonna be like, "Oh my god, I'm such a liar, I'm terrible, like, this like I can't believe it didn't work." No, like, you just keep doing it, you keep building resilience, you keep reinforcing your immune system, you keep reinforcing everything that you are, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I look at
Um,
it as like a savoring. You savor these experiences, you savor that you're blessed, you savor that you're friends, family that love you, experiences that you had that doesn't go away. You can savor them anytime. That is a blessing, celebration, purification anytime. Realizing, you're just the operant power of your fulfillment at any
yeah.
time. There's so many blessings to be thankful for, and when I just it's just a total celebration in yourself because there's always something to look at differently in a loving way, and that's really what purification is all about. Looking at things as perfect. I mean, that's really what perfection does. It's your ability to enter into the opposite of any type of illusion, because they're all anything other than love is an illusion. Anything to make you perceive that it's not love is an illusion, and then you realize that you are empowered. You are truly empowered, and savor that. I mean, that's something to savor. To know that you can transmute anything, that you can
Yeah.
alchemize anything. Like, even the fact that you alchemized it, even the fact that you purified it is something to savor. Like, wow, before I
Yeah.
was like down, and then wait, I'm
Yeah.
looking at it that I'm valuable. Like, this doesn't define me. I've done 10 things today that made me valuable. Savor that. That's an opportunity and then now you've
Yeah.
purified many things and you're looking at things differently. You realize, like, you appreciated you could purify that. You savored it like, wow, I am powerful. I took this thing and now I'm good now. Savor that. That's like I reference experience. I mean, that's big, and just
Yeah.
makes you
I
even
used to get really, really happy when I didn't react in my purification journey at the beginning. Now I don't react for anything, like, I barely even move, but when I used to believe I had to speak up for myself or even go home and I was, like, emotional about something, and now when things don't affect me, I feel like, I'm on top of the world. I'm like, "Oh my god, that used to annoy me so much, and now it doesn't even I don't even bat an eye." Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, when you really learn who you are and you
Excuse me.
learn you learn who you are, and learn how you can, reflect on that, it's very empowering.
Yeah, it's
You feel like
fun.
you're super person, that you can
It's
overcome all
fun.
this. I mean, we all have, and reflecting and savoring that, it really is so empowering to do that.
Mhm.
It's a wonderful
And
feeling.
so, yes, we have shared a lot on this episode, you guys. Again, remember, if you want to be part of this conversation, you are always invited. You can leave us comments, send us an email. If you want one-on-one coaching, we're also available for that. Or if you want to be part of our project and help in any way, you're also invited. And, I hope that you know what? I don't hope anymore because I don't even hope in my own life. I decree that this is helpful. I know that you're going to get a lot of value out of this. I know that you guys know this is your truth. You know that your heart feels safe hearing this because you've seen it happen before and you know that you deserve to feel safe and loved and fulfilled, having this beautiful human experience. And so, um, yeah, like, just share this content, like it, let us know what more you're looking to find out about in the same, scope of conversation, what you're dealing with, and we are going to definitely make more videos out of it.
Great. Now I'll take it out here. Well, thanks for joining us on I Am Purification. I am pure, I'm purified, all that good stuff. And this is really reference experience. Purification is really alchemizing, purifying who you truly are, and being as I am. And you are totally savoring this journey from a state of being, and you're being, acting, and reacting in the right place at the right time. And on that note, thank you for joining I Am Mitch.
And I'm Stephania, and you are reality. We love you guys. Bye.
Bye.